My first question for you is, why is suddenly AMH becoming a problem? I think that 50 years ago, no one would have known that AMH existed, and suddenly everyone's talking about it in the media and on TikTok. What do you think has made it become a prominent issue?
Yes, so 50 years ago, actually, you didn't need AMH because 50 years ago, average age of starting family was about 23 in most countries. So by the time women run out of the egg reserve, they completed their family. So now, average age of starting family is maybe approximately 30. So if you have a low egg reserve, then by the time you start family, let us say at the age of 30 now, you may have run out of egg reserve, or you may have a diminished egg reserve, which means it may be too late. So let us say 50 years ago, even women with a low egg reserve, even critically low egg reserve, who are at risk of having early menopause or premature ovarian insufficiency, completed their family by the time they run out of egg reserve. So let us say in the population you have a distribution of egg reserve. 25% of women have a high egg reserve. These are women with PCOS and with a high egg reserve. 25% of women have a very low egg reserve. They're at risk of having diminished egg reserve later on after the age of 30, 35, at risk of having early menopause and premature ovarian insufficiency, especially 5 percentile in the bottom of the distribution are at risk of having early menopause and premature ovarian insufficiency. Then you have a 50% of population that have an average egg reserve. So let us say, for example, 50 years ago, women started trying to have a family early. Most women had their first baby by the age of, let us say, 23. So even women with a low egg reserve who are going to run out of egg reserve by the age of 30, they already had the kids or completed their family, and they didn't have to worry about AMH or egg reserve. So now, if these women start trying to conceive at the age of 30, 35, by the time they start, they have already run out of egg reserve, which means they may have a premature ovarian insufficiency. Or they may have a diminished egg reserve. They may really struggle. They may need to do IVF. They may need to use a donor egg for IVF treatment. So yes, so 50 years ago, we didn't need AMH. Now we need AMH. Why? Because we postponed childbearing by 7 to 10 years. So these critical years of 20s are very critical because 20s, you lose a lot of eggs. By the age of 30, you lost maybe 90% of your egg reserve. So they are really entering a fertility journey in the last leg of your egg reserve or your fertility. So if you are blessed with a lot of eggs, like in PCOS, it may not cause any problem. You can complete your family by trying to conceive naturally. If you have average egg reserve, you can complete your family, having family naturally. But if you are actually in the bottom of 5 percentile or 25 percentile, you may really struggle. And this is why AMH is now important. It wasn't necessary like 50 years ago in terms of improving population health or population fertility. Yeah, so just imagine you start trying to have a first child at the age of 30 now, which is the average age for most Western countries. So if you have low, normal or a high egg reserve, that's not the problem. So if you have a low egg reserve or critically low egg reserve, it may be quite late. So now imagine women starting their fertility journey at the age of 35, even 40. So women who are starting their fertility journey at the age of 35 or 40, if they're in the bottom of the egg reserve in distribution, like 5 percentile or 10 percentile, 25 percentile, it's too late. So for those women, it's important to know the egg reserve 10 years before, let us say at the age of 25, so that they can plan, so that before they actually run out of egg reserve, they complete their family. Yeah, so yes, 50 years ago, we didn't even discover AMH. We become aware of AMH is maybe about 30 years ago. So, and we start applying to fertility treatment for women with infertility from 2006 or so, about 20 years ago. So now from 2025, 26 onwards, I am actually encouraging all women and also policymakers around the country, around the world, to use it as a screening tool to tell everyone's baseline egg reserve and use it as a monitoring tool for the egg reserve, because it is critical as we're delaying childbearing age. That becomes more and more critical tool to understand egg reserve and to tell how long of ovarian fertility each person has got.